Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today, as you see by the title, I am going to be opening up to you guys about me and Josh's breakup. I know that you guys have a million questions and we haven't answered or talked about the breakup actually in a really long time, and that is for a reason. Breakups can be really complicated and really tricky, and that is literally an understatement for me and Josh's relationship. And it has been, the past 8 months have been extremely difficult and very confusing, and we didn't want to talk about it until we had our heads on straight on what we were doing and what our relationship was going to be like. And now 8 months later, we finally have some solid answers for you guys. So I actually have a little list of some things that I wanted to talk about in this video. Some of the big topics that me and Josh have had to figure out and discuss the past 8 months. So I'm just going to get right into things right now and just start talking about what this breakup has looked like. This is going to be like a part 1 video, and you guys should be expecting a part 2 somewhat soon. You guys will see why towards the end of this video. But in this video, I really just wanted to talk about the last 8 months. So the very first thing I want to talk about is finances and our jobs. So before we broke up, me and Josh, we shared our money. We always have. We've been dating for about 3 years, and like ever since we started dating, I don't know, it's kind of just like we always spend our money on each other and helped each other. So in the history of being together, I worked at McDonald's like the entire time I was with Josh. I always had an income coming in, even if it wasn't a large one, I always had an income. And Josh only had one job for a few months in the time that I've known him. He worked for our town as like a maintenance person. He mowed lawns, did stuff like that. He was making good money for that, but it was a part-time job. It was seasonal, so he only had it for a few months. And that's the only job that he's had in this time. But we did use some other things to help make a little bit of money on the side, including like DoorDash and Grubhub and Instacart, like apps like that where you can go out anytime you want and make money on the side. But it's not very much, but it does help. We also used apps like Fetch, which is actually sponsoring this video once again. I absolutely love them, and I'm always excited to talk about them. Fetch is basically an app that allows you to save money every time you go to the store on every purchase that you make. They have thousands of participating brands that when you go shopping, you basically keep your receipt and take a picture of it on the Fetch app, and you get points back for any of the items that is participating with Fetch, and there are a lot. I'm just going to talk about them more in depth for just a minute and let you guys know that this is something that I really recommend to all the moms and anyone trying to save money, which I think is all of us. The sign up takes literally 5 seconds, and anytime you go shopping, you always get your receipt anyways, so you might as well just keep it and quickly take a picture of it to upload to Fetch to just try to get some of your money back on every single purchase. With a lot of other apps, they make you scan certain barcodes and it gets a little bit confusing, but with this app, you literally just take a picture of your entire receipt, super easy. It reads it for you, and then you just get the points back based on the items that you bought. And I actually went to the store yesterday and bought some food for the house, and I have the receipt here. This is from Target. And I am going to show you guys right now. I'm going to screen record kind of what the app looks like and the rewards and the points and how all of that works. So as you'll see now, I'm on my home screen, and they have some receipt bonuses on the top. It is 1,500 points to complete any receipts, and then another 250 complete any receipt. So there's always some extra little bonuses, and then you can see down here that there's some special offers. And as you'll see right in the middle, it says brands you earn points with always, and there's a million. There's a million brands, as you can see. Gatorade and Natural Valley and Scott and Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Lay's. I mean, those are items that a lot of us buy on a daily basis. So literally anytime you buy any product from those brands, you will get money back. So as you can see down in the right hand corner, there's a picture of a camera, so I'm going to click that. And then I am just going to take a picture of the receipts like this, and then hit submit. My receipt is uploading, and there, all the points, literally just those points from one receipt. And as you can see, yesterday we had bought Ben & Jerry's, Doritos, Tropicana, so we got points back for all of those purchases. And now, as you can see up in my right hand corner, I have about 4,000 points. So on the bottom I'm going to hit rewards. And these are all of the rewards that you can now get with these points. Some of my favorite would probably be fashion. They have gift cards for a ton of the stores here. And then also beauty, of course, like Sephora and Ulta. They also even have like movie theater gift cards. And seriously, this is the easiest thing ever because you're already buying these items as it is. It's worth taking the time, literally 30 seconds, to come on here, save your receipt, take a picture, and upload it. Okay guys, so the link will be in my description box so that you can go download the app really quickly and start using it for yourself. Now back to talking about this breakup situation. So, on top of the finances, when we broke up, YouTube was just starting to go for us, and we were making a decent amount off of YouTube, and this has always been something that we argued about. Like, I'm gonna get really real with you guys right now. So, one of the biggest things that me and Josh argued about was, like, supporting the family, and in my opinion, I felt like I was doing a lot to support us, and Josh wasn't. And it was really hard because he was supposed to be going to college, and I told him when we were together that that was his job, was to get through college, and I would worry about working and taking care of the babies financially, taking care of us financially, and we just kind of left it to that. But he then failed out of school, and that is probably one reason why I ended up breaking up in the end, was because we just started arguing a lot about how that wasn't acceptable. But I also was trying to understand it from his point of view, not being able to complete school right now with everything going on. And I was in high school, I still am in high school, and I was dealing with working and the babies and school all on top of each other, and I just felt like he wasn't trying hard enough. Obviously he's gonna have a different point of view on this. He felt as if he was trying and it wasn't enough, but in the end we just really disagreed over that situation. I already went through the reasons with you guys in the past video on the specific reasons why we broke up, but then we broke up, so it made it even worse, and our arguments about this topic got even more intense and often, and I felt like it was really unfair that we were separated, but he was being completely taken care of financially by me, who was no longer with him. And I felt like it was unfair that I was completely supporting the kids financially and he wasn't doing anything. At this point, he didn't really have much responsibilities other than school, which he now isn't going to, or a job, which he didn't have. So I felt really annoyed by that. So what started happening was with YouTube, I would pay him for every single video that he helped out with, and that's something that we didn't verbally say to you guys. I know I was getting comments about how it was unfair, that I was making money off of YouTube and whatever, but I will be real with you guys. I do 99% of everything for YouTube. I film, set up the camera, edit, do the emails, and all of the work behind it that you guys don't see. It's a lot. It takes up a lot of time, and on top of this, I'm in high school and finishing up my senior year. I'm in AP classes. Like, I have a lot of work on my hands. So the times that Josh would help, I would pay him, and it would be enough to do what he needs to do, his gas and whatever he needs to buy for himself. But then it got to a point where me and him just weren't getting along very well, and filming together was not going well. And you can see on my channel that there was like a solid 3 months where I did not post anything, and it was because me and him could not film together, and I was telling myself that I had to start filming alone and by myself and making this channel not really including Josh, which is something I didn't want to do, but it seemed like every time we sat down to film together, we just couldn't get along. So that goes into my second point here, which is seeing other people and the jealousy that came along with that. So pretty soon after we broke up, we both started to explore talking to other people. It was really starting on the phone, like starting to like text or call or Snapchat other people. And in the beginning, we both saw each other do it. We both knew the other person was doing it. And that just created so much jealousy that it almost made it impossible for us to get along together. And we knew that when we broke up, we knew that both of us were probably going to start talking to other people, but it wasn't real until that happened. And then there was just so much resentment that we had for each other, and anger and sadness, that it was unbelievably hard to co-parent together. And I can just let you guys know that in the past 8 months, we have both hung out with other people and explored, not serious, but explored some type of relationship with other people. The kids were never involved in those relationships. They never met anybody else. They never did anything with anybody else. We kept our relationships specifically between ourselves and that other person. And honestly, guys, that is extremely normal. We were single and we weren't together anymore, and it's kind of natural that eventually both of us would start to explore relationships with other people. So that goes to my third point, and that is Josh moving out, how we manage living separate, and our schedule. So Josh did obviously move out. It was really hard at first because we were so used to taking care of the babies together all the time for the first 6 months of the baby's lives, and then after that he moved out and we were like, what do we do now? So that's when we created our schedule. Basically, we call it the morning and night shifts just to keep it really easy, and one of us would do the morning shift, one of us would do the night shift, and it would kind of rotate. So Monday through Friday I had school in the morning, so he would do the morning shifts, and then I would come home from school and take over, and then I would do the night shifts. And then for him, he didn't have anything really going on during the day, so he would do the morning shifts and then just go home or hang out with friends or like whatever it was he wanted to do, he would be doing that. And then on the weekends I would do the morning shifts and he would do the night shifts. But then there was issues sometimes when one of us wanted to go hang out with somebody and we had to ask the other person to come to the house. Or like for me, whenever I needed to hang out with someone, it was really hard because I didn't want to like hurt him when I had to ask him to stay here while I'm going out with people, but it's like what we had to do because there was nobody else that could take the kids unless we wanted to spend money on a babysitter, which both of us were extremely opposed to. And then there were times when he would have to ask me to do extra shifts, we call it shifts, but like take over the time that he was supposed to be with them so that he could go out. And it was just bad. It was bad. Like, I mean, obviously you assume the worst when he says I'm going out, and he assumes the worst when I say I'm going out. And so when we were just sitting here at home while the other person was knowingly out and having fun with whoever, it was bad. Really hard on both of us. And then came the big question, do we be friends or do we co-parent? And those relationships we considered very different. Friendship meant that we were going to be hanging out and talking to each other and on good terms and doing YouTube together. And then co-parents meant we do not talk outside of the babies. We see each other when we see the babies, and when each of us leaves, that's it. No texting, no calling, no extra nothing. It's just about the babies. And in the beginning, we really wanted to be friends and we really wanted to make a friendship work, but we needed the space and the time away from each other to be able to move on in a healthy way. And so we tried to be friends, and then we ended up just separating for a while, like not hanging out, not texting each other, not talking. And it was really hard because we've known each other for years and years and been each other's best friends for as long as I can remember. And then it was just all of these things. The hardest part, guys, like, what I just want to say is that this was like, we wanted to break up and have that separation from each other and to be able to move on, but we never got it, ever. No matter what, we saw each other every day. We had to talk to each other. We had to call each other once in a while and text each other to figure out our schedule and plans. There was just no getting away from him, and there was no getting away from me. Like, we had to be next to each other, and it was horrible. I just remember this one argument, just like scream crying, and we were both sitting there like, this is the absolute worst situation in the world. Like, we were so unbelievably hurt by each other, and we just like couldn't move on. Like, we couldn't get over it. Like, constantly, every single week, every single day, it felt like there was something that was hurting both of us, something that like just brought up the negative feelings or something, and we just couldn't get away from each other. And I just remember in this one fight just being like, I wish I could just never see you. Like, I wish I could just walk away and not see you ever again and move on and not be having to deal with this every single day of our lives. Like, it was so toxic. It really was. Like, we were just so unhealthy for each other, and yeah, it wasn't good. We had to learn, this is the 5th point, we had to learn about communication, how to communicate with each other, how to talk to each other. And trust me, that did not come easily. It took us a really long time for us to like really calm down for a second, bring ourselves back, and treat the other person with respect. So guys, like, on YouTube, we try to keep it as positive and as uplifting as possible, but in the background, it was not all smiles and it was not all easy. This was so hard. Like, our breakup was brutal. Brutal, 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 brutal. I mean, it was just on another level. Like, all of our friends know it. Like, my family knows it. Like, we were just so back and forth and so negative to each other and so hurtful and all of these things. I mean, while we were broken up, we were going on these trips together that I was paying for, and I felt like I was spending so much money on him while we weren't together, and I felt like I was being taken advantage of and used, and he felt like he was doing the best that he could do, and I felt like he wasn't, and he felt like I moved on really fast, and I felt like he moved on really fast, and he felt like whatever, and I felt like whatever. It was just so bad. I'm gonna say it over and over again. Like, it was just bad. And we didn't want to put this on YouTube or share it, but like, I will never tell anyone that this breakup was easy, that this breakup was pretty. It was not, and you guys deserve to know that. And behind the cameras, there was a lot of issues. Now, what I want to end this video off with is that the reason why I am now telling you this is because me and Josh have learned so many lessons the past few months, and through it all, like, me and him have always come back to each other. Through it all. Like, on our very worst days in the past 8 months, like, we would still be there for each other, and we would still go to each other, and at the end of the night, you know, give each other a hug and be like, I love you to death, and this sucks, and this is such a horrible situation. And for the past 8 months, we felt like it was not a good idea to get back together because of a million circumstances, but in our guts, we just knew, like, right now is not the time for us to be together. And it was really hard to accept that, but that is what we accepted for the past 8 months. And recently, I was on a trip, and I did not put this on YouTube. I was on a trip with some friends, and I needed to just get away and clear my head for a little while, and he was using it to have some space because literally this was like the longest we had gone away from each other. It was like literally 4 days. This is the longest we've been away from each other in years. 4 days. And I took this time to clear my mind, and he took it to clear his, and I really just realized that nobody else in my life was ever going to come close to me and his relationship, and he ended up telling me the same thing when I got back from that trip. And that trip was only about 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. It was right before the corona stuff started happening. I actually left the trip early because of the corona. I was supposed to be gone for longer, but I ended up coming back after like 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and I came back and we talked about it and we had a really long conversation, and we just felt like we needed a new start. Like, things have been just so back and forth and so rough between us that we needed to just start over and reevaluate everything, especially because there's a lot of big decisions coming up about my school and our future and where we're going to live and where the babies are going to live, and just so many big things happening that we were like, listen, we need to sit down, we need to talk, we need to work this out, we need to figure out where our life is going, where our future is going, where the babies are going, like all of this. And so we sat down, we had a good conversation, and I can tell you at this point, with a smile on my face, that me and Josh are not talking to anybody else right now. We have ended all of our relationships with other people, because I can say straight up that that was 95% of our issues, was jealousy and seeing other people and our other relationships. That was 100%, 95% of our issues the past 8 months. We are not dating. We are not like back together necessarily. We are just trying to restart something. We're trying to come back together as a team. We saw things that we didn't want to see. We knew things we didn't want to know. We heard things we didn't want to hear about each other. And that was the hardest thing. It built so much resentment and so much anger towards the other person that it was just, we needed to come together and apologize to each other and let each other know that in the end, we still choose each other, not these other people who in the end don't mean anything. And it's very, very, very hard for me to explain. Oh gosh. It's very hard for me to explain in words. And I know that this video is extremely all over the place and confusing, and I apologize that it's probably not the most clear thing to you guys, but me and Josh are starting over right now, and we're not going to rush this. We are not going to rush this. We are building trust and respect for each other. And when I say that, it's so important. It's so important because we've lost that, and we need to get that back. We need to get that trust back and that respect back and the kindness and just all of it. We need to get that back, and the love, we need to get that back, because it disappeared for a little while. It did disappear for a little while. We are trying to get back to an even better spot that we've ever been before. And so when I say this is a part one, this is a part one, because I will be back here to update you guys on everything as soon as I possibly can about our relationship in the next few weeks, in the next few months, because there are some really big changes happening that I'm going to talk about in another video with our life right now that we need to tell you guys. And I'm hoping that we can tell you together. So we need more time. So that's kind of what I'm asking from you guys, is more time to figure this out and work on it. And hopefully I can come back here in a few weeks, in a few months, however long it takes, to tell you guys that me and him will be doing our life, living, taking care of the kids, doing everything as a team again. So that's really it. And I need to stop talking because this video is like so long. But I hope that you guys understand a little bit better that the past basically year has been really, 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 really hard. Really hard. And that thank you for patience and like letting me and us, you know, say everything on our own timeline. And yeah, I'm gonna end this here, and I hope to talk to you guys soon about everything else that's going on. And don't forget to download Fetch, because I just think it's so funny, but like, it's really weird, the little things that help you, like, and Fetch is one of them in a really weird way. Like, it's always like fun to like scan the receipts and like save money, because I like to save money. Josh has used this a lot in the past few months when he goes shopping, because he needs it. But yeah, so I'm gonna end it here, guys. Be on the lookout for some future updates. Try to be kind in the comments, you know, and that's really it. We love you guys so much. You guys have been a huge part of our lives the past year, an insane part of our life, and we really do love you and appreciate everything. So we will see you guys in the next video.